Hello race fans, sim fans, RC fans, Racing 393. So I've done a few of these videos now. So I've got my arse into gear and we've got this car closer to perhaps race spec than it's ever been. So there's been two videos of the sort of the assembly of this. It's been a rolling chassis for absolutely ages. I've got to the point now where I'm probably going to be ready to test this out indoors with a transmitter. So the last two videos I did ask for a lot of help, advice and some suggestions. People very helpful, really pleased actually. Some of the stuff, you know what it's like, some of the answers I kind of knew or think I know, but it's just having that reassurance that you're on the right tracks. So far so good. So I did a shorts video of what I've done, but I want to go over it now in a little bit more detail, the plan and how far this video will go. So firstly, as far as I'm aware, the body shell is okay where it's mounted. It mustn't touch the floor or any of the wheels. I think it's pretty close to some of these wheels. I'll have to check that once I've got the car bound to a transmitter and I can use it on the floor indoors just to see where the steering's going to go. I think it's going to scurf the front wheels a little bit on the front arches, so I do need to be wary of that. Now everything's in, and what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to take the shell off and we'll quickly just summarise what I've done and where. Do I need a script? And where I'm going with this video. So I'm not sure how long it will be, and I'm also not sure whether it will go in one part or two parts. But what I'm hoping to do is make this, at least this video and the next video where the car is completed. If I can fit it all in one, great, you know, so we'll see. So let me just take the body shell off and I'll move the camera and show you inside. Right, so this is, I'm gonna just move the camera closer to the chassis and I'll go over, starting from the front to the rear, my plans and what I've done in a little bit more detail. Okay, so I'll use, I haven't got anything to point with, I haven't got my tools here, so you can have a big fat Chernobyl finger. If you, I don't know why I said that. Anyway, look, so the aerial, you know, I run an aerial. I've got a Fly Sky, so at the moment that's what I'm going to use. The receiver has an aerial. I'm quite aware that a lot of RC racers use, there's like Futaba and Sanwa. Is it Sanwa? A lot of the receivers, this is an old cheap receiver, not, you know, barely 15 quid or something, but I know a lot of the receivers now have like a wireless, or no antenna, antennaless, and I suppose there is wireless as well, but antennaless receivers. I haven't got one of those at the moment, so I will need to cut a hole in the body and put a mount on the chassis and the tube for that to go in, which I will do in this video. It's all in the Schumacher box, which you can just about see there on the left. But anyway, so steering is all fine. I haven't set it yet, it's just sort of generically set. The as you can see there, the transponder is now fitted. I've taken the cradle off, as someone said you don't need that. I didn't know that. It's stuck down with double-sided tape. I know it sounds obvious. How else are you going to fit it down? Interesting though, it does say on the instructions that carbon fibre chassis are not ideal. So, oh, there you go. I don't know. What? mean, to me that sounds daft. Maybe it's a thing. Maybe, you know, they say it on all the transponders actually. So it's not just this one. This one is a hybrid one or something. So it seems to it had all the right boxes ticked. I mean, transponders. I've been involved. How transponders, all my race cars, they just work. I didn't know there was any particular problem with them. Maybe if there is a problem with them, somebody can just enlighten me on that one. So the programmable box, which isn't here, or it's upstairs, I will get that in a minute. I've updated that as well online, Hobby Wing. The next thing is to plug it into the electronic speed controller and update the firmware to the most recent one for the type of blinky mode, I think. That's my understanding. I'm interesting where the light is. It must be either on top or hidden. Again, until I turn it on, I won't know. But I'm going to update that. I don't know whether I'll update that before I turn it on. Maybe I should. All the wires are soldered on. The blue wire, in this case the blue wire, which I think is A, yeah, wire A, came off during, I stuck my electronic speed controller down in a slightly better position so it is flatter, and in moving it, my wonderful soldering wasn't, and that there came off. It is annoying, but my soldering's not great. The thing is, it's not a permanent fixture, so you could heat it up and move it. I get that. Would I want someone to do it properly? Maybe I would pay for someone to do that, just so that I know it's done. The wires are not quite long enough. I miscounted, well, I mismeasured, not counted, I mismeasured the lengths, which is a bit annoying. But they still fit. They do fit on, and they seem secure. I know a dirty connection can make all the difference. Again, something in the future which I can probably look into. So the reason I color coded them is just it wasn't any other reason other than that, so that I don't get anything mixed up. And it's as simple as that. So that's it. The battery has always been in, and I have put the battery leads on now, the ends. Now the ends I did have, well, they did fit flush with the battery. You push them down and they're on. No, like normal, I guess. But they were very tight. Like, I know I didn't want to push them down because I'd hit flush and I'd never get them out unless I had nails. And with amazing soldering being done, you could pull it out with the wire. I get that as well. However, I do think they're a bit too tight. There were 4mm bullet connectors for this type of battery. And I had some other connectors which were already onto a charge lead, which I'm going to use in a minute. And they had these type on, so they kind of like spring loaded, and they fitted great. So I just bought some of them and put one here. So on this one here, the positive, I did do a sleeve on it on there. On the negative side, I couldn't, because it isn't quite straight. The sort of finished bit that's a bit rubbish. It is on there, but my sheath, if you like, was too tight going over this. It is a bit too tight, so I need to perhaps get some other sheath. I mean, I should have done it black and red, but I only had the black. So that one's all right though. I've left it as it is. Someone did say to make it so you can't get it into the wrong one. It would be awkward to pull it in. Let me just move my camera so you know what I'm doing. So to put this one there, that'll fit in nicely. It would be a bit of a faff to go over there. So the chance, I know that could get in either. There's not much you can do about that. So that one goes there, and that one goes there, and they do go in. They do fit. The body still goes on. So that's all done. I did a little modification to the front, as in, it seems obvious, but because this particular model of pan car doesn't have adjustable spring shock absorber. Some have a centre shock in the centre here. I would prefer that, but it's got like a sliding, I don't know what they call this, it's like a sliding internal bar. It's still a shock absorber, but it's dampened by, or damper, it's dampened by oil. You put oil in there, and the resistance of the oil, because this particular shaft has got holes in, which goes in, and you can fill that up with a certain grade of oil, depending what dampen you want. Of course, the front, down here, I just overlooked it. The front uprights are the same. So the front hubs slide up and down on a very similar bar. And I didn't oil them. It seems so freaking obvious now. And they were graunchy. They had these were the standard springs, and I did question whether I need to change them because it was stiff. Someone said leave them on there, they're fine. And I just read a comment that someone did make. It was such a minor comment that I just overlooked it. And it said, just put a certain weight oil in there. But I didn't have that weight oil. I just put some of the oil, my diff oil that I've used. It's a bit thicker, but at least it lubricated it. And now these work perfectly. It sounds, I'll kick myself because I should have, it sounds obvious. It is obvious when you look at it. Why didn't I think of that? But anyway, that's done. So that's done. The wheels are lightly oiled now, and the preload on the nut is so don't bind. They're quite nice and free. So that's all good. Right, we're going to move to the rear of the car. Let me just move the camera and the car. Okay, I'll start from this side. That's all in, the motor's in, everything's all on as it should be. I do have, I don't know whether this was doing it. Let me just move the kind of the, I don't know what you call this, subframe. But it's like it's what you use, you measure the tweak. It's not doing it now. Can you hear that? And it was clicking yesterday. I don't know why. I couldn't see what was. I think it might have been. I thought the motor was clicking on the bottom chassis, the carbon fibre, a bit of the motor. I could be wrong. Anyway, that all works. This is all standard springs. So I've used the springs that came with the kit. I've got other springs, but until I've tried it, I think I might have actually put softer springs on this. You know, they're under. You can't see it, but I'm going to point. And they're under here. There's some springs there that it pivots on, and there's obviously the back. Say obviously, but I hate using that, as you know. The back spring. That one there is standard. I think these ones here. I'm not sure I use the standard ones a lot now. I can't remember, but anyway, it feels all right. I mean, can't really notice any problems with that personally. Let me just spin the car round. So the other bit I've done here, I've looked into the rollout. Got a calculator that an app which was recommended, which I downloaded. Was it free or was it like 89p? I don't know, but it's got on my phone. I understand the concept of a rollout for gearing. I'm not gonna, there's no point me trying to explain it here. One is I might get a few of the details incorrect. Secondly, most of the people that might watch this would know it anyway, because I've got the advice of the people that watched my videos. Clearly, you adjust the rollout with the spur gear and the pinion. Now, I did read something to do with stock motors and modified. Generally, if you've got a more powerful motor, then you can have a bigger pinion, because you've got higher revs, torque, punch. You can have a bigger pinion. We have an underpowered motor. I'm not saying these are underpowered by any stretch, but if you had like a standard silver can in this, not that you would, but if you did, you'd have to have a smaller pinion for it to get the speed out of the motor. That's my understanding. So that's a concept of which depends on what motor and brand and performance. I mean, this is a stock motor, a 13.5 turn motor, which is what they all use. The brands are I wouldn't say limitless, but there's a big, massive list. I'm sure there's better motors than others. But I've just stuck with Hobbywing because it's a package that I bought. And the rollout, from what I've done, I've got the spur gear, which is a standard kit spur gear. I think 84 teeth, or it is 84 teeth. I forget what the front is now, because I did have a larger, like a 44 tooth pinion. I don't know if I've got it. So I've got it here on my app. So the pinion is 26. I think it's 26. We'll go with it for now. Yeah, it could be 26 on the front and 78 on the rear. Transmission ratio 1. Tyre diameter, it's 40. I'm going to measure it again, 45 mil, I think. And the motor KV is 3950. That's what it says on the box. 1 lipo cell. And it says the rollout is 47.1. Now, I read somewhere that is high. I'm pretty sure I read somewhere that it has to be down 36 or 5. What do I know? I'm just rattling figures that I read. Everyone has an opinion, but clearly there is a ballpark figure which you should go by. That's what I've got. Would it work? Don't know. The maximum speed doesn't seem very high. I don't know if that's a thing anyway, but it only says 26 miles an hour. Really? That's quick enough around a little twisted track, but indoors, by any stretch. Let me know. So by the time this video goes out, I may have already found the answers. So I like opinions. I love anyone that has an opinion on other things. Even if it differs from what I've been told, I'll take all on board. It is what it is. So that's it. So the plan is now, the transmitter, my FlySky transmitter, is being charged. The battery I'm going to charge up in the charger. I'll probably film that. Not film a battery charging, but the process I'm going to go through, because I've never used the charger I've got for this, because it does 1S. My other charger, which does a multitude of batteries, doesn't go and do 1S. That was something else I had to buy. I don't even know what's in this battery. It might be enough. I don't even know if it works. So all my soldering and wiring, if I plug it all in, don't work, what am I going to do? It'll be a very short video, and I'll probably, I don't know how to find out if something's wrong with this. Again, I haven't tested it, so I suppose you can put a battery on this, and the motor, if I put a battery between the terminals, the motor should work. To make sure this, well, to be honest with you, it doesn't matter if this, would it work? Yeah, it should do, because it's going to go through there, isn't it? Or do you do it directly from the motor? Anyway, I don't know. I'm rabbiting. I'll find out. We'll find out when we switch it on. So I'm going to charge the battery, charge the transmitter. I'm going to put this on charge just to sort of get a bit in it, just to see. I want to see what it's at, and I'll sort of film that so you can see with me. And the idea then is to plug it in and turn it on and see what happens. Then I will plug the program box in and go through the settings on there. I haven't got a clue what I need to set it to. I know how to use the program boxes, and I also noticed that a lot of the events, these cars don't run a reverse. So there's obviously a forward and brake only setting. That's an optimal setting, I guess, but we'll see. Anyway, let me progress to the next stage and I will be back soon. So this is the charger I've got. What's that say? Absima APC charger, does 1S LiPo. It's got 1S on there. The capacity of my battery is 8,800 and 8.8 amps. There's the battery in its case. It seems a-okay. So we got that in there. Christmas cake. Yeah, so I guess, so you can see it all going up. I'm not going to sit here filming a battery charging, but you know what I'm doing. So it's not up to the speed yet. It's going to take a while. I don't know, I'll probably have to fully charge it because it was in, I think it was in storage charge, 3.79. Got a feeling 3.8 is storage charge on the voltage. I've got another battery which I can try. Well, I'll show you what. I'll just show you it now actually because I've got it here because I had to get the. This isn't a battery for the 12 scale. This is just my normal, my only other LiPo battery for my other cars. So, because it's got this Dean's connector, I can use it on this charger, which is handy. So I'm gonna, this is in storage charge, but I will check it. It's been a while since I've used it. I was in the summer. 7.4 volts, 5,500 milliamp hour, hard case. So yeah, we'll give that a go. Right, I'm gonna let that do its thing, and then I'll be back. So that's where we're at the moment. It's a 1S, so it's a one cell. I'm just updating you so far. 4.1 volts for that cell. Generally speaking, 4.2 volts is fully charged. The minimum is about 3 volts. That's for perhaps storage. But generally speaking, a middle ground per cell, 3.7 volts. So far, so I've been told. Could be wrong, but you can have the cell at 3.7 and it will be okay. I guess that's somewhere near storage. You can store it at that, but it can go down to 3 volts before. If it goes below 3, then my understanding is it can damage the cell. So yeah, that's the update anyway. So we're still charging. And we'll be back in a minute. Just another update, 26 minutes in. Just wondering what your thoughts are. It was at 8 volts, 8 amps. It's charging at 8 amps. But I don't recall the amperage on my other batteries dropping. It stood at 4.1 volts and 7.1 amps, but it's set at 8.8 amps. Because it's an 8,800 milliamp hour battery, but this seems to fluctuate when I move that connection. As you saw then, it's gone down to like 5. I mean, I don't think that's right. It's gone down to 4 amps. I mean, is it that? Should you have a connection that goes from there to the battery as one lead? Because you're going to get drop off there, aren't you? Yeah, it's still now at 4.9. So I'm not quite sure why that is. It's not under any pressure, but it's going to have a drop off, isn't it? So they're just asking that question. It's 30 minutes in. and it was sitting at 8 volts. So I keep saying volts, don't I? It was sitting at 8.1 or 7.9 amps. That's what it's charging at. And since moving the lead, it's fluctuated. So anyway, no doubt somebody will know, but we'll leave it at that for now. Right, okay, I've taken it off charge. I wasn't sure whether it was charging properly, so it wasn't getting hot. Nothing seemed wrong. I looked it up on the internet. It didn't seem a problem. The amperage was fluctuating. I don't know why. So anyway, I've plugged in my other 2S, 5,500 milliamp hour. I've got the balance lead on it this time. I'm going to put it in storage charge. LiPo 2S, 5 amps, 7.6 volts, going to storage. I've not used it since the summer, so clearly something needs to be done there. You can see the cells, 2 cells, 3.8, so they're fairly balanced. Hence the balance charge. So it's not rocket science. I'll leave that for a minute. I'm only literally going to be in the same room. So yeah, any feedback regarding what you saw with that one? But anyway, we're going to attempt now to plug it into the car. I'm quite nervous on this actually. I will probably film this to see how it goes, and you'll experience my excitement or disappointment. Anyway, give me a second, let me set it up. Okay, so the battery's in. The connectors are on. It's not done this before. I've got to put the bind key in. I'm going to plug that into the bind port. I'm going to do that now. So that's all plugged in. I haven't done the program box yet. What I have got to do is turn my Fly Sky transmitter on and select a spare channel on it for this. So that I'm going to set that up. I'm going to set that up first, and then I'll come back and maybe turn this on. Well, not maybe, it's going to be turned on, but will it work? So you can see that there. I've literally just it's my last one on here actually. So it can hold 9 programs. They're all used up now. So I've labelled this one LMP for obvious reasons. Okay, so I think I can never remember. These are so easy, but I can never remember. So you've got to keep the bind key pressed on the transmitter, and then power on. Well, this is the big dog's bollocks. I don't know if it's going to work. We'll see. So I'm going to push bind. I don't know what that means. Turn the transmitter off. Nothing at the moment. Something's going on. I suppose I should have read the instructions. I don't know whether that's the calibration of the electronic speed control. It's done something like calibrated. I don't think it's bound. I've got it bound. You can see the light. If I show you, it is blinking. You might not see it on the camera. Clearly, the way that blinks is for the upgrade for the program box, which we'll try in a minute. But left and right might not be the quickest, but it might want adjusting. The throttle That may not be the quickest either, but obviously got the brake on. So the brakes do work. I suppose we better try it on the floor. So give me a second. But it works. So far so good. Okay, so that's the first time I've used it in here. It's got a bit of power there. I don't know whether it's all set yet. I'm going to put the program box on now, and we'll be right back. The interesting thing is it all bound, it all works. My soldering is suitable. Yes, it could be better. I've no idea about the charge capacity of this battery. That's something I need to look into. But now I think we've got to change. We've got to put this in. It's got a brake on there that's quite severe. So I would think you want the car to sort of freewheel, and then you apply the brake as and when you need it. I'm guessing it's a setting within the speed controller. I'm going to plug this in, turn it on, and go from there. So give me a second whilst I do that. Okay, so I'm not sure you can see the screen because of its brightness. So you've got the electronic speed controller connection here, which has got a plus and minus way of putting it. When you put it onto the speed controller, the open end of the connector faces towards me. I'm pretty sure that the plus and minus might be probably below there somewhere, and I didn't look, I just sort of guessed. I seem to have guessed right. Okay, so forward and brake. I think that's kind of what it needs to go at. I don't know how to update the firmware though, I must admit. Don't know what, I've got the instructions there. So you've got like value item on, I don't know what that does. Let's just push this one here. Reverse force. Cut-off voltage is auto. The thermal cut-off, I've just left it standard. You know, if that needs to be changed, to let me know. I can Google it, look into it, ask questions, but that's a genuine. I don't know what that means. Well, I don't know what it should be set at. I know what it means. If it gets too hot, it melts. Motor thermal cutoff, I guess. That's standard. What should we set it at? Remote off enabled. What does that mean? Does it go off if you leave it on? It goes off on its own after a certain time. Throttle rate 30. So 30 is the highest. Is that what you run it at? Is that maximum? Throttle curve linear. Well, that's a straight line. Oh, a linear line is a diagonal line from nothing up to maximum speed, consistent. I guess I'll leave that as that is. Neutral range. So is that how much play you've got in the throttle? So 6%. Does that seem right? So it doesn't all come in with a bang. I'm gonna leave that as it is. Coast. I don't know what, well, maybe if you put that up to percentage, it doesn't brake as soon as you leave off the throttle, I guess. So we can go up. I might as well try it anyway. There's many of you saying, no, leave it on 0 or put it up to 20. I don't know. So I'm going to put it up to 5% coast. Does that mean that when you put this trigger down, or when you come off, does it not brake straight away? I'm going to see if that changes that. Drive frequency. I'm going to look, obviously there's some instructions here. I mean, I haven't looked at them, as you can guess. I don't know what that means. Never seen that before. Soften something value in value, 0 degrees. Don't know. Soften in range. Drag brake. Well, I don't need that because it's not a crawler. Brake force is 100%. So maybe that's why it's braking and it's put the brake force on. So what would it be? It goes up in like, maybe put like 60, maybe 75% brake force. I'll change that just so that's changed. Initial brake equals drag brake. Initial brake, 50%. Initial brake equals drag brake. I don't really want that. 50%. Brake rate. So that's set at 10. I'll have to look this up. There must be a graph or something somewhere. Brake curve linear, so a straight line. Brake frequency. 1K. Don't know. Brake control linear. Boost timing. Well, I don't think we're allowed any, so I'm going to leave it at 0. Boost something else. RPM. Again, if I haven't got it on, I don't think I need that. Start BT, what's that? Bluetooth? What does that mean? Something start RPM. 6,000 RPM. Is that, I don't know, what does that mean? End RPM. I suppose it depends on the motor. Do I need to change it? Depends what motor I got on, I suppose. Turbo timing. No, I guess you have that off. Being a stock class. Again, those that are into the race, let me know what that needs to be. This is all new to me now. Turbo delay. Well, I haven't got that on anyway, so something increase rate, timing. Must be something to do with timing, but mode 1, 0 timing. So does that mean if I go mode 5, blinky 17.5? Well, that's not that one. Mode 4, that's open. Is that blinky mode? 13.5. So is that what I've got? Practice. It's not modified. Open blinky. So is that right? Should I set it at that? Do I got OK that? Mode 4. So running mode, forward and brake. That's clearly what I want. Is it updated? So I don't know whether it's got the updated software on the speed controller. If those that know, let me know what I should be doing. Okay, so that's that. I'm going to plug it all back in, try it out again, see if it's made any difference. So I've just turned it on, tried it. It's massively different. I don't even know if I've got it on the right settings. It's stupidly, the RPM's mental, probably too much. But I've already found that that's come off. Well, where's that come from? If you look, that's just stupid. That's so fast. That's going to break. It's going to break something. I'm not going to try it on the ground. But I've got the settings now. I think what I'll do, I'll put the antenna on, put the body on. That means I've got to drill a hole in the body, get the body fitted to where it naturally is, then try it to see if it's hitting the body, but only in the kitchen. I'm going to look for where that goes. A tiny little thing. Oh, something's obviously come out, and it must have been in the metal. It's probably really important, and I can't see it anywhere. Anyway, let me just get myself so I can get the shell on, and I'll put. So this is sticking up. You can see that, but the aerial, and then yeah. Oh, it's annoyed me with that, but that little screw is. I've seen those as well. I mean, obviously I've seen it. I remember seeing them like, God, they're small. Where the hell have I seen it? I bet it's on a. Oh yeah, if you got to take the car apart now for that to go on. I can't even see where that. I can't even see another one of them on the car. So anyway, let me get myself in some form of order. And then I think what I'll do, this will be part one of my kind of running video. It's kind of a running video, but not properly. Part two will include the shell fitting, because it's only going to be painted, cleaned, obviously, put on, and then put some decals on it, a few for now, and then pretty much, I'm pretty much waiting. I'll read the instructions, but I'm pretty much going to wait for what people give me feedback on regarding the settings on the programmable box. I've no idea. I mean, the blinky mode, it's obviously blinking on the on switch, but I've no idea whether that's right or not. So anyway, let me just do a little bit of work. I found out where that bolt was come from. It's well, I can't see it now. It's in there. I'm going to point to it with the screw. It's in. You can't see it, I suppose. There. So there was a bit of clicking when I was doing the rear subframe. I call it a subframe because it's how I would know it. And I think that was loose because it was clicking. It's a bit stiffer now on the tweak. Well, you know what I mean, with the back pivots. And since I've put that in, I've done it a bit tight. So I don't know whether that needs to be Loctited in, because if that gets lost, we are in trouble. So I'm going to probably do a look, I don't know, because it's only a small thing, and round it off. It's done a bit tighter, so that's where it came from. So that pinches like a little pivot there, and I think that's what, this was quite loose, the actual pivot points. We need to move the rear axle. Anyway, so I'm glad that I found out what it was. Anyway, let me crack on now. Right, so the body shell's on, the aerial is done. So I'm running an aerial. The body's kind of fitted exactly where it will go. The positive terminal super close. I'm not sure, but the negative is fine. So that positive one perhaps could do it being like a low level one. But all these things are there to, it's a learning curve. We've set it all up. So I'm just going to quickly try it on the floor, only just to check to see whether the body shell rubs, and I will sort that out off camera. So this will be the end of this video. Once you've seen the car running, I'll do a quick close. The next video will be the painting of the shell and the final fitment. And then the car's, apart from any decals I want to put on and anything else that's when I take it down to the Eastbourne track on the 15th of January, any recommendations or anything I hear through this channel on this video, whichever, be a bit more ad hoc. Anyway, let's get the car started up, put it on the floor, and we'll see how we go. Okay, so it's on there now. So I don't think it actually rubs. It might do a little bit. I still think those front arches want a bit of trimming. That's on right hand down, so turning right. I'm not sure about left turns. Let's try left turns. So it doesn't seem to hit. So far, so good. So, yeah, quite pleased with it actually. Don't know how much of brakes on it. I don't even know if it's the right setting, so there's hardly any brake on it at the moment. So I've just realised the brake doesn't work. There's no brake on it at all. So definitely need to sort that out on the settings. That pretty much sums it up for now. Let me just move the car, turn it off, move the camera, and we'll have a closing. So there we have it. My Schumacher Eclipse 4 LMP12 carpet racer. It's the Pro chassis, it's got lots of upgrades. There's clearly more to do. I don't think the shell is rubbing, which is good. Again, that might change. Wiring works, so that's so far so good. The positive battery terminal is a bit high, so I might have to change that. I don't know. Pretty much standard settings. It's just built to the kit stock settings. Nothing spectacular. I do need some help with the program box and my settings I showed you. So if you watch the video and you can go through those settings with me, if I missed anything, let me know. If I need to change anything, let me know. It was set on open blinking, 17.5 was it? 13, whatever it was, whatever the motor is. Definitely quicker, super quick, almost too fast when you sort of let it wind up. So that's spectacular in itself. And any kind of help and assistance with the charging of that battery from what you saw, is it right? I don't know. I'm going to leave it at the moment. I'll just unplug it and then we'll go from there. I've got lots to sort out now regarding spares. That's why there's a box there, there's a Corrali box there. So that in itself will be full of bits and pieces from the Schumacher box and my kit bag upstairs. So anyway, that's the end of this video. I'm I'll have to word it slightly differently. So I mean, there's loads of part 15. I don't know what it is now, but from this bank of videos, this is part 1. Part 2 will be the body painting and final fitment and sort of how it will look when it races. And plus I'll mention any people that give me some feedback on what I've done on the program box. Do I need to set it in any other way? Have I done anything wrong? Let me know, because that is a little bit new to me. Although I have got a program box and I can set it on another speed controller, it's just a bit different. So anyway, again, thank you everyone for watching, and thank you in advance for any feedback, advice from what you saw. And part 2 will be the completed video, finally, of this kit build. It's been a fantastic journey, I have to say. Fantastic car. I don't think the driver is going to be quite as fantastic, but anyway, we'll see. I'll probably have a little read up. That's what the instructions are for, aren't they, in the boxes and that. So maybe I'll read the instructions in that program box, Hobby Wing. There's plenty online, I guess, as well. But if any of you have first-hand experience and very easy communication messages, it is much appreciated. Anyway, that's it. Thanks very much. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you for the next video. Bye for now.